So, good evening. Good evening. Oh, that's a good word, guitar. So, good evening. This is Doug De Jong on Make Some Noise. And tonight we have some awesome artists from across the ditch, all the way from New Zealand. So, they can't be with it here in my studio tonight physically, but we have them all online and we have some awesome artists. So, if you have any questions, please ask. Completely interactive. So, hello to my New Zealand audience. I did advertise this at 7 o'clock Queensland time, but in my wisdom, I had no idea about the time zone. So, I should check that out next time. So, let's get the guest on. If you please like and subscribe down here. Like and subscribe. Check the website out. Oh, there's a website. And I need all your help. Actually, all these musicians need your help. Like and subscribe and buy all the gear. So here we go. Let's bring them in. Here we go. There's Nigel. How you going, sir?
Oh, doing very well, thank you.
And Kurt and Karen.
Hey.
And Cheryl. So LA Thompson, LA. So we might start with Shirley. So here we go. I'll just zoom in there. If you want to tell me who
LA
you
Thompson.
are and what you do and what you do.
Okay, I'm LA Thompson, but you know me as Shirley for purposes of, personal. So friends and family, hiya, Shirley is here. But yeah, LA Thompson's my brand. I can't see any of you, but I'm presuming you can see me. So Karen Davey and hopefully David Shannon will join us as well. We could only have like 6 up at once. Yep. I can see you all now, so I now know I'm not talking to myself. So that's really cool.
But what do you do musically? What do you do musically?
I'm a singer-songwriter like our panel, but the guys and girls tonight, bar David, are part of the LMM network, and we all have songs on the compilation albums I do for the last 5 years. So we're celebrating volume 5, which is
wow.
So I've put together 5 compilations of indie New Zealand music. So everyone you see tonight, and thanks for having us, Doug. Everyone who gets interviewed by Doug tonight is on the compilation album, except for David. David's a
awesome.
very, very successful international artist, and I just wanted to invite him to meet you tonight. He's also supported the LMM network, which has been fantastic. He came and performed for us.
Awesome.
In little old Coromandel, New Zealand. So yeah.
Cool. Thank you very much. We're going to go straight to Nigel. If you want to, here we go. Nigel, do you want to tell us what you do? And
okay, I'm probably a little bit schizophrenic, a musician of many parts, but the main one which I do, I suppose. Yeah, well, you can only see some of the parts actually here today. You don't know what I'm wearing by here. Anyway, I'm sort of a known folk. I'm a known folk artist, so I do anything from really, really old, like hundreds and hundreds of years old songs and music, to modern day singer-songwriter stuff. And I've been at the biggest folk festival in New Zealand and other festivals, and been People's Choice and done all those sort of things. I'm working on some new music there, but I also, as LA Thompson does and a few others, I also play gigs in pubs. So I play sort of 3-hour cover sets to entertain people as well. And there is a bit of a crossover between the two. When you start writing, you end up thinking about songs that will fit in another area, and just performing in one, if you perform in a pub when where people are having a great time and being noisy and not necessarily listening, it's quite different to performing in a folk club where everyone's sitting and listening. But there's a lot of learning that crosses those two things. It's not a huge divide, and I'm straddling both. I'm straddling now, actually, with whatever I'm wearing below here.
Very well said, sir. That's fantastic. And we'll go over to who's ready. Kurt, are you ready there, sir? I was just
man.
There. You want to tell us what you do and where you might do it? There we go.
Oh, I just do my best to make songs and help young musicians and help them make songs and work together as a team, and then try to put them out there and stuff. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So, and you've actually got some, you've got recorded material out as well?
Yeah, just on new stuff, and LA Thompson has helped me, get all that technical stuff out there, and
that's awesome. So she's instrumental in getting your original music out.
Yeah.
So right. That's awesome. And okay, cool. And we might go down to Karen.
Hey.
We might zoom in on Karen. Just lost to Karen, but I don't know what happened to LA. She's lost in transit. Here we go, Karen.
Going round and round. How are you?
What music do you do, Karen?
So I also am a singer-songwriter and been writing for a while now, and I've had 4 songs on the different
Oh yeah,
CDs.
you're back. Sorry about that.
You are back.
I'm back.
So I've only got a little
No,
LP,
we
EP.
I had to
And-
ask the full family I'm staying with.
Yeah, sorry, I just put her on mute. Sorry. Yeah, what were you saying?
I've just got my little 4+1 LP or EP, and got a lot more music to get out. But of course, it's a bit expensive, so it takes a
Right.
while. And I just write heaps of songs.
And
it's
what
just
what
genre?
your genre, and also what's your, I forgot to actually ask you guys actually say what
Where
kind of
we're
instrument
from.
you play. Yeah,
I
and where
play
you from?
guitar.
Yeah.
I play guitar badly, apparently,
Oh,
but
Rubbish.
I play to enjoy myself. I'm now in Christchurch. I was in Auckland. I met LA up in Auckland, and we toured a little bit with the girls and had a bit of fun
Yeah,
in
how did that
Thames
happen?
and Hamilton. And how did that happen? We were
How
asked
did that
to
happen?
go and play, and it was
how
great.
did we, look,
Oh, right.
we met.
So
Yes.
Yeah.
So I asked
So,
you to come and play in Hamilton, didn't I? And
Yeah,
then I
wow.
got involved in yeah.
oh, that's
Yeah.
great. All right.
so we've done a little bit all over.
Very good, very good. All right, we might go to Michael.
Can I ask a favour?
Too
Sorry,
late.
Doug. Can I just ask a favour? Karen
Go.
Davey just needs to have her face shown, if that's right.
Who? Excellent. So
Karen
we
Davey
might go
has got
to
the you can bump me out, Doug.
Okay.
If you bump me out and bring Karen in,
Yep.
if you'd like to, so she can
yeah,
come in.
she's not sitting in the background yet, so I'll let you know when she's there.
Oh,
Okay, so we
really?
might just go
Oh.
to Michael now. Here we go. So Michael, sir,
Michael.
and what do you do?
Yeah,
Where do you
go
do it? And how do you do it?
I'm based in Dunedin. I'm the leader of a band called Catharticus, but also play solo Catharticus. Basically guitar based and ukulele based too, punk and as well as prog rock. So a bit sort of schizophrenic in terms of genre wise. I'm the songwriter, got it so far, and got a whole bunch of stuff on the radio actually. So been doing quite well. And I think we had 3 songs with LME Music, just got a comfort zone, and instrument, ukulele instrumental called Two Slips in the Gully.
Yep.
So that the ukulele's kind of taken off for us because we're running it through like valve amps and distortion that time, not all the time, but can't play as well. But it's just getting quite a bit of excitement and a bit of a following and stuff. So yeah, having a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. And I guess the next question is, everyone got their instruments there? Can we do maybe a quick run around? LA, have you got your little guitar there? Because that made a feature last time.
I have, but if you want to, if you'd like to go to the guys and girls first, and I'll just get mine out.
Okay, no problem. I might go to Kurt first.
I've been in the studio. So.
I'll just go to Kurt first. Here we go, Kurt. You want to tell us about your guitar? There we go.
Yeah, Doug, hopefully you can see that. Maton.
Yes, Aussie made. Aussie.
Yes.
Aussie.
Yeah, and so from what I know is that the people that make it are actually guitar players.
Yeah, right.
And
Cool.
yes, we've got a custom-made 12-string here.
Is that a master sound?
Yeah, it's a master sound, and this might come out backwards on your video, but so
That's
there's something on there.
Is it right to lift it up a bit? If we lift it up a bit and see the controls. Yeah, a little bit further.
Yep.
All right, so there's a switch there. What does that little switch do?
Yeah, so that's a cool version of the high pickup, middle pickup, and the low one.
Yep. Yeah. And there's another little black switch on there.
Yeah, and that switches one into half what's called double magnets into single magnets, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, coil split. Yeah, very good, man.
Yeah,
awesome.
So Australian made. Right?
Awesome. Semi-acoustic. Fantastic, man. All right, we'll go over to who's ready next. Michael looks like he's ready there. Go there. Here we go, Michael.
Oh yeah, this is
Michael's ready.
This is a ukulele, standard ukulele. His named Little George the Welsh Dragon Slayer, and how he got that name, Nigel knows all about that. We went to play with Shirley up in Wellington, so Shirley's gigs up there, and also played in a place called Welsh Dragon, and we played this, and there's a bit of party animal, this youth, and he just absolutely slayed the place. I just tagged along for the ride, and we stayed with Nigel and Bob on a flat called
I'm a little bit
on the corner of George Street and Little George Street. So he became Little George Welsh Dragons player. So that's how he got his name.
That's awesome, man.
Oh my god.
Oh, Cheryl, I'll just swap you out.
I'll
swap you out, Cheryl. Oh, actually, that's awesome, man. I like what you just said. You just tag along for the ride because we got David in the background. So I might get Cheryl to go first, and then we'll swap you out for Dave. So here we go, Cheryl. Your guitar, are you there with us? Oh, she's from a Disney movie. Oh, there we go.
Okay. Oh, here we go. No, here we go. I know I'm blonde, but I'm not that dizzy. Okay, look. This guitar I built, right? So it's made of kauri, and it's, that's my design in there. And over here, you have to forgive me. I'm actually at a friend's house up from the studio in Cambridge.
Cool. Very nice. Awesome. Well done. I think we lost her there. Okay, I'll just swap her out for so Dave. Here we go. Dave, welcome to the chat. How you going, Dave?
Hey, how's it going? Nice to be here.
We're just doing a quick show and tell, and we'll do the intros for Dave in a sec, but we might go to Karen next. Here we go, about your guitar, Karen.
My guitar. She's beautiful. She's just a little Fender, and I absolutely adore my guitar. She's been all over the world with me.
Wow, that's amazing.
Played her in the airport a little bit, and yeah, she's my baby.
Awesome. Cool. And then we might go to Nigel. Are you ready to go, Nigel?
I am.
Here we go. What have you got there?
Hello. I'm going to stand back a little bit. Not that this is huge, but it covers everything it needs to. That's all you need to say. This is a Tanglewood. This is my workhorse. It's a mahogany, solid mahogany Tanglewood. It's a beauty. It's been to about 7 countries. It has gone around the world and various things. I've also got other guitars, and being a folk musician, I've got mandolin, Puerto Rican cuatro, heaps of percussion, low whistles. I think there's about 50 different instruments of various sorts in this room, but I'm not going to move it around because, well, the trouble is if I move this thing around, then the laptop's going to go ag because it's an old one. So
fair enough.
I might show you something later that's a bit different.
Okay, no problem. Very, very good, very good. And we might go back to who's up next. Michael, I think, has got another guitar there. What have you got there, Michael?
Oh, sweet. Yeah, this is my Fenton Gatto Blaster. This is home built. I built him. I built him out of a slab of emu when I was about 22, and it's been around the country with me. It's my main weapon of choice. I did have a Gibson SG, but for a while, quite a long time. But this is my main weapon of choice because it's got a wide neck, long scale, play all sorts of unusual chords. It's and that's the Damasio tone zone pick up on there. It's got a really, it sounds like a Les Paul burst bucker, so it's pretty sweet tone.
And what timber is it? What timber is made it? What timber?
Review. It's a New Zealand. It's a bit like it's a New Zealand native, and it's a bit like the American maple that they build Les Pauls and Fender Strats out of.
Oh wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. All right, we might go to David because we haven't got any intros done for David. So maybe David, you want to tell us what you do and where you do it?
Well,
musically speaking,
I play this thing and sing, and well, at the moment, I do it all at home because we haven't been able to leave the house. So, but no, I mean, there's a bunch of stuff on YouTube and Spotify and all that sort of stuff, and then really looking forward to getting back gigging, which is pretty cool because this needs some more, love and action.
What kind of guitar? What kind of guitar is it?
It is a little Takamine, super old little guitar now, but nice little tone and much loved and used. So it's an indie. Wow. See if anyone wants to go and look it up specifically.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, very good, sir. Well, thank you for coming on. I don't know who's actually tuning up. Who's making some noise there? Is that Nigel? Do you want to play something, Nigel?
The trouble is, when you pick a string instrument up that's got this many strings and it's a bit weird, this is a Puerto Rican cuatro, it is bound to be out of tune.
Let me have a look. How many strings does it got?
It's got 10 strings.
Wow, what's the tuning? What's the tuning?
The tuning is, if you can imagine, it's tuned like a 5-string bass.
Okay.
But the so some of them are pairs and some of them are octaves. So it actually sounds absolutely beautiful, but it's not in tune at the moment. So
wow, that's awesome, man. What's it called again? What's it called?
It's a Puerto Rican cuatro. Most cuatros, it's all from South America. Most of them they're called cuatros because they've got 4 strings. 4 strings. Sorry, I did 3. 4 strings. But they kind of went to town in this particular place, and they made it. It's like a love child between a mandolin and a 12-string guitar. So if you can imagine that, that's what this is. And it's slightly out of tune, so I'm not going to play it.
Yeah, 10 string. That's awesome.
It sounds lovely when it's in tune.
That's amazing. So I'd love to hear I'd love to hear that. I've never actually seen one of those before.
There are just a handful in New Zealand. There probably aren't a huge number in Australia. I got this one. The story behind that particular one is there's another friend who actually had one. I started playing it and I loved it, and we started playing Wishbone Ashes, duo, and things like that. But I went into a magic shop in Wellington called Alice's Music. It's the smallest music shop in town, and it's the weirdest, and it's got the most wonderful instruments. And they had one of those in the little cabinet. You have to buy some when you go in, but you can't escape this kind of music shop without buying something. Alistair is a master at selling you something before you leave. I just about made it out the door without spending a penny, and I saw this thing in the cabinet, and I said, You've got a Puerto Rican cuatro. This is all you Scottish guys. This is all yes, we'd like to have a play. So how do we play? And it's absolutely amazing. I loved it. The story behind this one is there's actually a very well-known musician in folk circles called Marcus Turner, who died a few years ago. But when he was still alive, he used to go around the world collecting weird instruments, like the mariachi bands where you got the big sweaty guy at the back with the
big sweaty guy.
Those. Yeah, and that was on the wall in Alice's, but I had this as well. So this actually has a bit of a story behind it, which makes it sound even better. But it's absolutely gorgeous, and I like playing it, and it's out of tune. So I'm going to leave it to another time if that's okay.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's good.
I just want to show and tell. The show is looks great, it's not tuned. So there we are.
Fantastic. And has anyone got any other cool instruments I've never seen before? That's awesome. No one else? No. Okay, so just what? Sorry. Okay, so we're going to have to top and tail to get Cheryl back in and out. So first question. So obviously you all do, original music of some descript. So I'd like to know, because in Australia. So I guess maybe to give, because you guys actually don't know me at all, actually. So I spent a little bit of time in the States, and probably the most attractive thing about the States is that all the cities are so close together. So if you want to go and gig and tour or whatever, you can actually organize transport and actually get the job done rather quickly. However, in Australia, from Brisbane to Sydney, I don't know, it's about 1,000 K actually. And then, Melbourne's a big hub. But in New Zealand, so my point getting to, in New Zealand, I went on tour in New Zealand and South Island after the earthquake, and we were supposed to do another, I think we were Christchurch, and we had to go to another town north, but because of the earthquake, just like ruined all the roads, we had to go inland about 5 hours.
Oh, you went to Picton, yeah.
Yeah, right. That's it. That was the town. That's it.
Yep.
It was really, really weird. But so I'm just asking, what does the music scene look like for each of you? Is it like, do you play 3 nights a week, 5 nights a week? Like, so we'll just go around in a round table. But yeah, what does the music scene look like to you? So maybe Dave, if you want to go first.
Sure. It's a super interesting combo, I think, at the moment. I've been doing a combo of doing festivals and tours, and then also doing covers in between as well. So the last festival over in beautiful Australia.
Wow.
Played at the Illawarra Folk Festival. So that was the last little one.
Wow.
Which was awesome. Super cool crew running that, and super fun festival. If you haven't all checked it out, but in terms of the music scene for me, I try and do a New Zealand tour every year, which I've been working up to doing every year. It's like I did one and then was exhausted and needed 2 years to recover, and then No, wasn't that bad, but I learned a lot from that one.
From touring. Yeah,
then,
wow.
Yeah, just basically now doing more and more shows, and I think like most things, the more you do it, I feel like it's become easier to make it happen.
Right.
Still, still a lot of planning, a lot of work, and all that sort of thing, but it's no longer square one where it's like calling muso buddies and be like, how do you tour? Like, where do you start? So
right, okay.
Case of trying to book awesome. Menus and map out, hopefully, like you were saying, some sort of consistent plan rather than going north, south, going back, and then the venue you want's free, but it's the night after some faraway location. So
yeah, right, yep.
Yeah,
so, because a lot of the exports, I guess, from New Zealand come to Australia, to step up because there might be, more demand for their music, whatever. And it's just so interesting because, I guess maybe the first one that comes to mind is Keith Urban, right? He was born in New Zealand, apparently. Russell Crowe. Who else? Australia keeps claiming. The Finns. Yeah, the Finns, yeah.
Dragon.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, right. Yeah. Amazing stories. Yeah. But yeah, so my question, the reason why I'm asking it is because, such awesome music comes out of New Zealand. Because, I think you guys are only like 4 million for the whole country, right? Is there only 4
just
million?
turned 5.
5, I think.
5. Oh, well, congratulations. There we go. 5 million. I think there's about 9 million New Zealanders in Australia. I'm just kidding. But so if we go to Karen, what is Karen? There we go. What does gigging look like for you?
Well, of course, at the moment it's all online because there is no going out.
Well said. Well said.
So I to get to Christchurch from Auckland, I played on the Inter-Islander, and that was great fun. It's a really good gig if you can get it, because they pay you to come down.
What is the Inter-Islander?
It's a ferry between Auckland and Picton and Wellington. So
is it a big boat or a little boat?
Yeah, car ferry. So you have to play for an hour and a half, which is really simple because we all have enough music to fill 3 hours, and then they help you back to your car with all your gear, and you're sitting waiting to go. But basically, since I got down here, I've played a few pubs. I've stood on a few street corners just to get to know people, and I've got some market gigs where recently I was playing and I asked if they wanted covers or originals, and was so excited to hear people behind me go, "We came for your originals." Didn't think that would happen. It's like, wow.
Oh, that's congratulations. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
We might move to that's fantastic. And Michael, what does gigging look like to you? I'll just sub one of you off. Does anyone I might sub. Yeah, I'll sub you off, Karen. I'll just be 1 second, and then we'll just rotate it around here. Okay, Michael, what does gigging look like for you?
Well, right up until lockdown, we were probably playing about once, twice a week, all originals. We do a wee bit. Me and Greg in particular, the bass player, we do a wee bit of open micing, which is unplugged, which is good for practice. So we always know our lyrics and our lines and things like that. But we're often doing official gigs as well. Sometimes sometimes it gets a bit crazy. We're doing 2 or 3 in the same week, in the same day. But
especially when you're schizophrenic, eh?
That's happened. Yeah, that has happened. I'm not exaggerating there. But yeah, we can get quite busy at times for an original wee outfit. We're quite happy about that. But it's all munted at the moment. I've been doing live streams online once. We just done one earlier this evening.
Hi, Raymond.
Those are going really well. It's quite well attended, if you can use that word. Because people don't have to pay an entry fee, and they have to buy beers, things like that. We are in the pub scene pretty much. We do play festivals.
I'm just doing the Kurt thing. It's a Kurt wave.
Yeah, right.
Festivals and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, no, we're busy boys and loving it.
Yeah, right. That's fantastic, man. That's awesome. And what about Kurt? He's
getting bored. He's doing the hand signals.
Kurt, it's all up to you now. So, what are you up to, Kurt? What does gigging look like for you?
At the moment, we're just preparing for school stuff with the young bands that I work with. School competitions and all that stuff. Practicing the songs that they already know, and I'm getting prepared for that and stuff.
Oh, so you were a musical director for high school bands, or?
Yeah. Mostly.
What kind of ensembles do you put together? Is it like a rock act, or is it? I don't know.
Pretty much whatever is appropriate for the musicians in the group. So I do my best to, like what this singer can do and this drummer can do and all that stuff. So try to make a song that's appropriate for that group. If you know what I mean?
Oh, that's great, man. So you listen to a lot of rhythm sections and see how they listen to each other.
Yeah.
So you must have a good tips to give rhythm sections to play together, right? That's great.
Yeah. You see, so you find a group of 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 people, and hey, what their abilities are, and then make a song around their abilities.
That's awesome, man. That's cool.
That's really good. That's cool.
Yeah, wow. So gigging for you is like every single day. Is that like a day job, or is that only at night time you do that?
School stuff and teaching and stuff. So it's not gigging so much. It was just the occasional gig here and there, and just making.
That's how Kurt and I met, wasn't it, Kurt? You came to Papamoa, and he brought all the girls who were in the band who were on that song that you submitted for Volume 5, and that's how I met Kurt. It was really great.
Wow, that's awesome.
The girls and the guys sang his song, recorded his song, and he submitted it for Volume 5. It was brilliant. It's really good
Fantastic.
rock song. Well done, mate. Well done.
Yeah. That's cool.
So Nigel, that's awesome, Kurt. Thank you. So Nigel,
Hello.
what does gigging look like for you? So you've obviously been overseas doing your
2 thumbs.
Multiple thumbs.
Yeah,
I've been
How many have
around.
we got here? 8. No,
10, 8.
I can't even count.
Between
12.
Between the different types of music I do, it's quite a lot. I mean, if I'm playing pub gigs, it's probably about 2 weeks, sometimes 3, and I run an open mic or 2 and a bunch of things like that. And I also, I'm actually a big believer in music doing more for people than just being, hey, I sound great, look at me and dance a bit. So I play at the big hospital locally, and I support other homeless groups and environment charities and charities for people who are struggling with decent housing. So music is a lot of those things, even for bits I don't get paid in, but with the pub gigs and things like that I do. And then on top of that, there's also folk clubs and folk festivals and things like that I sometimes do. So there's a whole bunch of things to keep me busy, and I've written songs that are in support of these different causes and charities. And if you want me to play for free, here's a tip: if you want me to play for free, then then ask me to do something that I already support that's a really worthy cause. Just don't get me to come and play for free when the soundman's getting paid and the bar staff are getting paid and the security guys getting paid and the organisers getting paid a lot, and the only people that aren't getting paid is musicians, because I don't do those sort of gigs. So, I'll keep
right. Yeah, wow, that's awesome.
Free lasagna. I've just
What?
said lasagna. No, free lesson.
Oh, what's he got there?
Free lesson.
Free lesson.
Free lesson.
Some of
There you
our Gmail.
Well, nice.
There you go.
Nice one.
Woo!
Oh, well, that's awesome, man.
Free lessons.
Well,
I'm going to have a listen.
Does that come up backwards on your end?
it's very backwards. It's probably a New Zealand thing. No, I'm joking.
If you can read backwards, then you can get a free lesson.
Awesome. I'm joking. Hello.
Can I ask a question, please?
You just did.
I have a question.
Yeah, cool. Shoot.
Okay. And this is to the team, because now Kieran, we really should bring Kieran back in, because
we've got to swap him.
We're a bit outnumbered, guys. You know, we've got to take in.
So what's your question?
Well, I want to ask Kieran as well. So,
okay.
From perspective of being a promotions person myself, like Doug and a few of you, and also David, has done a lot of promotions and a lot of good work in Auckland. Thanks, he's got a group and what have you. My question is to the team of artists here is, when it came to being a part of local musicians' music from conception, which I know Nigel was in 2014 onwards, is when I founded it, and then the LMN
that makes me
network
feel old.
Yeah, well, yeah, me too, mate. The LMM Network came about because that was the live performing side of me organising gigs from Wellington to Tauranga to Auckland, so that artists like ourselves could have a place to come and play original music. I pushed very, very hard for original music only, so we did no covers for these shows. So that was a bit of a risk because we were playing. And so my question to all of you is, did you enjoy it? Shall we do it again? Because at the end of the day, there are venues coming up who are asking me for original only. Okay, so
Yeah, right. Okay,
the
let's
push
go around
has
then.
worked. So
Okay.
I'd like to hear a little bit about, like, David came and supported us. He's not a member of the network, but he supported us, and we're really grateful for that, mate. You were a shining, the music. I loved it. Well, I got a great selfie with you on the night. It was fun. It was fun at the Rocker Box. It's pretty loose. Like, I don't conform to the rigid concerts and stuff. So when I host, it's I guess a step up from an open mic, really.
Okay, cool,
so
cool.
it's that next level up. But we're not trying to emulate a formal concert or festival. And even though I've been criticised for the way I've run them at times, the whole point was to have that relaxation. So I want to know from the team, including Kieran.
Yeah. We'll swap.
How you
swap
found
out.
that? Kurt hasn't been a part of those yet.
Okay.
but
Well,
Nigel,
let's let's
Michael-
answer the question first. We'll just come to the question. You like to talk a lot.
Good,
so okay, let's go to Nigel.
Okay.
On that one.
Yeah.
I talk in detail. As you guys know, I talk in detail. If you can't cope, you know what to do.
Okay, let's go to Nigel.
Okay. Thanks.
How do you feel?
The local musicians' music bit, I got involved in the Wellington bit because I live in Wellington. I don't know why I've got hair this long because it's always sideways out in Wellington. It's windy. We got together on the odd originals night, made some great connections. Actually went on tour with a little three-piece with LA Thompson, myself, and a guy called Rob. And we did part of North Island, snaked up through North Island, did a week of gigs, which was great fun. And also Michael came up to Wellington all the way from Dunedin. And it's the first time I ever knew surf punk on a ukulele was a thing. I never knew it was a thing before, but he came and introduced it. And so you get to see these amazing things that you never knew existed. And that's great fun. And also the connections continued. Because when I went on my last South Island tour a little while ago, did something like 16 gigs in 21 days, including 4 gigs in 3 days in Dunedin. And I stayed at Michael's house. And that all came about because he came up to Wellington as part of the local musicians' music. So all these connections kind of happen and they spill out from there. And
it worked.
Well done. Well done, LA.
And surf punk is a thing. Surf punk, listen to surf punk, it's a thing.
Yeah, it is. It's huge.
So LA was instrumental in putting that together.
Yes.
Good on you, LA. Yeah. Okay, and Michael, what's your take on what LA put together?
Oh yeah, well that was my first real experience was that the aforementioned Wellington trip, and that was a bit of a buzz. It was
huge.
Month,
it was so much fun.
We were flat out. It was huge.
We got filmed by the university.
We got and Rob, and we had a great time. And it was great having Nigel back down in Dunedin. We played a couple of gigs together down here, and also Shirley met me at Auckland Airport for she had a summer series concert up north, and so I jumped on a plane with George here. Yes, George likes to. He likes to travel.
It was fun. It was fun.
Party animal. So yeah, we did this quite a decent
George Street
concert with Shirley, hosted by Shirley,
so good,
for LMM Music, and that was a whirlwind trip. It was flew on Friday night, and the plane nearly didn't make it back. We got in a massive thunderstorm on the way home, and but we did make it back, fortunately. And it was good times. Whirlwind trip, and I loved it.
Really appreciate it.
So we're
Can I
keen
just
to do it again.
Guys, Yeah. Thank you so much. One thing these lovely guys here, Nigel and Michael, forgot to mention, I think, when we were in Wellington, when Michael flew up from Dunedin, we all slept on couches and what have you, just kind of roughed it. We roughed it. But the real funny thing was we were walking through, I think it was Cuba Courts, wasn't it?
It's Cuba Street.
And Cuba
Oh,
Street.
Cuba
and
Mall,
they were
yeah.
filming. Well, they were filming. And so I think it was Nigel raced up the road, grabbed me a guitar.
From Alistair's
got
music.
Yeah, from Alistair's music. And he put a bucket. He got a bucket.
And ukulele.
on his head.
I found a bucket
Got a
from
bucket,
from an
upside
Indian
down.
restaurant, turned it upside
Yeah.
down.
So Michael on his ukulele doing punk rock, me trying to do a rhythm and harmonise to Michael to a song I'd never heard, and this one Nigel on the drum, which was a plastic bucket. We were playing to the film crew. Then they all jumped onto one of my songs they'd never heard before. So I sang a song and they played along, and it was freaking hilarious to have a punk rocker playing a country rock song with a guy on a bucket, which is Nigel. They filmed us, and guess what they put on the film? The only thing they put on the film was me with my mouth open, and this two intently on their instruments. So there's none of the music. It's just this photo of me going, and I was like, what? Okay, this is so after all of that, it was hilarious. And that was the one photo that made it to this film clip. So obviously we must have sounded really hilarious. But the photo got in and it's still plastered all over the place. So guys, I really want that film. Because at the end, I might still have it actually, but at the end, it's just got that crazy photo. I don't know what the hell possessed them to put me with my mouth wide open.
Oh no!
Things like there's nobody living.
You guys rocked.
Yes.
Thank you so much for that. That was so much fun. It was impromptu and it just happens. You know about this, David. You go around the world, things happen. You don't plan them. And they're the best.
I don't think anyone's ever taken over. A video. I don't open my mouth wide enough. I think featured shot, but I'm working on after this story. That's going to be my goal for 2020.
I was not impressed.
We're just going to finish off this question because I have another question from Veronica to ask you all. So, Dave, you've done some work with LA. So, so how was that?
Oh, it's great. I think one of the cool things having someone actually setting up shows and promoting original artists is like what I was saying about touring before. It's a mission. Yep. It really is. Yes, and so to be able to slot into a show that's happening is always awesome, because it means or like tonight, you've set up everything, Doug, and it means I can just share the link and turn up, and you know what I mean? It's awesome. So it's been great being part of that and being able to jump on board.
Okay, that's cool. And thanks, Karen,
awesome.
Karen, what's it like working with LA?
I've actually had heaps of fun. I love the fact that she's actually stuck at the moment. It's really good. She can't say so much, but in the North Island, we went to Hamilton, Thames, and then we went down to Tauranga. Really, really good times having me playing my songs and having people I didn't know jump on and play instruments behind me to songs they didn't know. It's just great. It's kind of like family, and I like family. Yeah.
Awesome. And I just got a sub Kurt on, so I think if we're going around, so Michael, if it's all right if I sub you out for 5, Michael, if that's cool. And then I'm just trying to get it so everyone gets a sub out. Okay, so here we go, Kurt. Oh, sorry, wrong button, Michael. So here we go. So Kurt, question to Kurt, what's it like working with LA?
Oh, she's taught me heaps of little technical stuff, and how to promote yourself. And all those weird things, the internet and all that stuff.
Multitasking.
It was great to see, to see her at an open mic night, and boom, she just kicked everybody's mind.
Awesome, man. Fantastic. That's good. All right. Well, I have a question here. So maybe.
I'm glad you like me, I hate to say.
Maybe Nigel, if you want to go first, and we'll go the opposite way. So here we go. Nigel's question. Have any of you ever, and would any be interested in working with the collaborative with myself, this is Veronica, and to visual artists at your real life venues, gigs or festivals, split screen on live stream? So
totally.
I guess, so Nigel, if you want to go first.
Yes.
I guess,
the short answer, The short answer is yes. That sounds like a fabulous idea. And
Thank you for
the
asking.
mixing of different artists, I mean, you do that with musicians, not just from the local musicians.
Hey, shall we try it now?
But other people but actually putting visual stuff in there as well. One of the things I love, Shirley, one of the things I love about
I've already got the guitar.
artists is if you let them think of something and contribute something that they're really good at, you'll get something way better than you could ever have thought of. And so collaborating with a visual artist, and I'm doing some stuff, I'm working on stuff in the studio at the moment that probably lends itself really well to visual arts when it's being performed. So I would love that kind of big collaboration rather than just the music.
Yeah. I really like what you just said there, Nigel, because when you actually listen to music, because I know a lot of you don't really know my background, but I've just finished honours in composition. So I had to, in short, do something called an autoethnographic analysis. What does that mean? It means writing a big assignment about my life. And
sounds like an enema.
Yes. Well, right through the big toe too. Yeah. But it was the thing is when you listen to music, it always takes you back to a place visually. Does that make sense?
It does. Or even a smell you had at the time or something.
Yeah. It entertains the senses. I really like what you said. So over to David about cross collab with visual artists. Yeah. What's your point? What's your take on that?
I love it, and one of my favorite gigs that I've done was on a tour in Japan. We had 2 live artists painting, drawing,
wow.
and we had a bunch of musicians, 4 or 5 musicians, a pole dance and a silk artist. And it was just the guy running it made it an awesome community, and everyone got involved. But it was like the whole night was this experience, and now I'm talking about it here, obviously, as like one of my most memorable nights and shows. And it's kind of cool performing as well to a crowd with someone creating art. So it's like I don't know, it's it was a vibe, I guess, rather than anything I feel like I can explain in words.
Yeah.
But it just and that's why we go to shows at the end of the day, it's the experience
the whole
of it.
Experience.
Experience, isn't it? And
experience.
I think it's cool. Anyone that's willing to put themselves on the line for anything live, there's like an edginess that comes up to it, right? Like there's something that sparks and that just happens, I think. So yeah, definitely keen to do something like that again.
Awesome. That's cool. And so over to LA, your take. I mean, I don't know, but we better swap him out if he's just walks on it.
I think we better bring the mic.
So if going back to LA, so your take, because you actually are a visual artist, and as we discussed last show, you did. Yes, of course. But what's your take on doing a collaboration with the visual art? What's your take on?
I'm there with Bowzon. I songwrite, collaborate. I'm songwriting at the moment with Brett Howes, bluesy dolesy kind of sexy red dress kind of thing, and apparently I've got to change my voice into this kind of bluesy dolesy sexy red dress thing on it, draped across the piano. So that's going to be interesting.
Wow.
I'm going to try really hard to do a very tasteful version of that. I know how that just sounded.
Hold on so much.
On that note, moving right along. Okay, today I've been in the guitar studio at Johan Vandiger. He's my luthier. He taught me to build that guitar. So today, I don't know if you can see this, but this is a prototype. It's a little bit messy, but on here, that's my design there, see?
Yeah, pull it back and hold it still. There we go.
Okay.
Hold it still. There we go.
It's a bit messy, all right? But
that's all right. That's cool.
That design there is an engraving. Now,
wow.
I'm not going to. Oh, and here's an example of power shout.
Wow, that's cool.
So what's happening is that's just the taste. The finished product will be ready probably in about a week. So there's ukuleles. I don't want to give away too much, so I'm not going to show you all the designs. But there's things like guitar straps, made of bead and leathers, engraved. There's power shop inlays, engraving, hand engraving. So basically what's happening is I'm catering to the markets of New Zealand and Australia, and also the high end, which I guess is places like galleries, because I'm a member of one of the galleries here in Coromandel. So my work occasionally used to get exhibited there, and I've been asked to exhibit in Whakamata, I think it's called Whakamaramara, just before Tauranga in the Bay of Plenty, New Zealand. So the idea is which has always been my little girl dream, other than building a guitar, so that's a bucket list, but I've always wanted to do the interactive thing. I've sung for art galleries with Chris Barclay as my guitarist, so we've done the corporate thing, but now I want to do the interactive thing, which is what David's done, and I have this whole show that I wanted to write. So I'm in the process of, I've got the 21 tracks, organising a mini orchestra. So I talked to my team. I'd like to talk to all of you at some point about maybe.
Oh, not now, apparently.
Yeah. We've just lost her. LA, we've lost you. You've gone dead. Sounds like you pulled the plug and yeah, I've just got it.
Sounds like the flat line, actually, doesn't it?
But she's still talking.
She's still talking. I'll just swap her out. We've lost her. I'll just see if it's still there. Is it still there? Are you there? Hello? Are you there, LA? Hello, LA? Can you hear us? We got no audio. You'll have to log off and log back on. Off and on. Okay. All right. That wasn't awkward at all. Okay, cool. Right. So,
but you handled it so professionally.
Kurt is somewhere. Yeah, well, we'll come back to him. Okay, so next. They're just dropping like flies. So who are we up to? Michael. I think Michael, where was Michael? Here we go. Sorry. I heard a little echo there, Michael. That's why I did that. There's a bit of an echo there. Are you there, Michael?
Okay. Yep, I'm here.
So the question was collaboration with visual artists and musicians. What's your take on that?
Yeah, well, definitely. I'm open to both now with the live streams that we're doing from home. My wife Heather is an artist, and we've had quite a lot. She's been doing quite a lot of creative stuff online. Well, in fact, Ed did a live painting when we were playing a song called Serenade Me, and as well as a few hanging up a few paintings and doing stuff with video clips and things like that. When we made the video for Crispy Cake, there was somebody approached me and said, "Hey, we can help you with this vintage clothing shop," and she was a TV producer, and she had I had a pretty firm plot line or storyboard, but she just said, "Hey, what about this?" And I just thought, I'm just going to let it sit back and let it roll. And because they were so creative and had so many good ideas, that I'll just sit back and just relax. And it's good when you give people freedom. That's quite amazing what they come up with. So we've got an awesome video because of that. Because, if I held it too close to me like that, it wouldn't have come out so good. Now, in terms of live, my wife Heather isn't really in pubs, but the problem is a lot of the places we play at are really tight. Like they're really small spaces in Dunedin. Some of them are quite comedy. I can just try to, and Nigel knows what I'm saying, hey? Inch bar. The crack. That would work. But yeah, some of them would be pretty tight. Like we're Zanzibar in particular. What's going on there?
Singing. I don't know.
Singing shows, yeah. Yeah, I'm always open to that sort of thing, eh? Yeah, definitely. And it's all with other musos. It's always good to be part of something that's bigger than just yourself, eh? Like it's good to have joint gigs. Rather than just yourself, you've got other bands playing with you or other acts. I think it's all good. It's healthy to get better. You get a bigger crowd as well. You get to play in front of new people. Well, there's a whole lot of reasons why that's good. You encourage each other and you make new friends. Yeah. So it's all good.
Does the Dunedin have the Penguin Club still there?
Just north.
Oh no, we play there. We play there a lot. That's in Oamaru.
Oamaru. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah, it's about 100 about 100 miles up the road. So I'm not exactly sure, but it's about 2 hours, one and a half to 2 hours up the road. We do play there a lot. It's one of our favourite places to play. It's the Penguin Club. Yeah, they love us. And we love it. Yeah.
I remember, doing a jam there at the Penguin Club. Years and years and years ago, and no one knew me, so they were really hesitant about getting me up. And anyway, when I played, they didn't want me to get off. But us, yep, we can't hear you. And when I open the mic up, we get this
static.
We get a pitch shifter. So please.
He thinks you're flatlining.
Yeah, log off and log back on. LA, log off, log back on. LA, log off, log back on. And we'll see if, log off, log back on. There we go. And we see if, there we go. He's got dancing in the background there, Kurt. So, next question, and I think it's flatlining. Thanks, Deb. Yep. Okay, so let's talk about rock and roll stories. And Michael, you might have to mute yourself on and off because there's an echo. And we've got a question here. Pubs are struggling now, especially with drink limits. Now, not that I endorse being wasted, but I love the music scene. It's so hard now with DJing. It's killing live music, I think. Or what do you guys think? So, what's your take on DJing, Nigel?
DJing is okay. It has its place, and some people find it entertaining. But the trouble with DJing is you don't get any engagement with a live audience. And one of the great things about live music is you can actually look people in the eye, and they can engage, and they can see what's happening between members of the band and see the chemistry there. All these things to do with energy and moments and entertainment, they're the things that you don't get when you just play music through a system from a CD or something like that. So live performance is a whole different thing. And we touched on it briefly with the visual arts side of things being an experience. So
right.
Well done. I think it was David who mentioned that, and you're absolutely right. So DJing, a DJ is cheap, and people say, oh, we can have a DJ. He fits in a corner. He's, we've
right.
them $100. That's it. Live music, I get what you're saying about the drinking side of things, but it depends where in the country you are. If you're in the bigger cities like Central Wellington, Central Auckland, Central Christchurch, there are an awful lot of people who can walk or get public transport. They're in there for the whole evening anyway. And if you're like me, when you go out to a gig, you maybe go to 2 over the course of an evening, one early, one really late. So there's an awful lot of walking going on, an awful lot of being in close proximity that doesn't involve driving. So out in the more rural towns, it does make a big difference. In the cities, I don't think it does really. I think what does make more of a difference is the fact that some venues are going to be broke, and they're going to be worried about music, loud sounds of music, and people having to talk over it. So for months, I mean, my gig calendar basically just got completely wiped.
Yep.
A couple of months ago, as in I was just about to go off north and do some more gigs and things like that. Literally the day before I put my stuff in the car, everyone was messaging me saying, no, we can't do it, cancelled. And then there was lockdown, so definitely cancelled. So live music is still great, and places still have it, and people still really love the engagement that live music has that DJs don't. But you can't always afford a band. You can't always have the space for a PA. Right. You've seen the size of some of these stages. They're not really. So everything has its place. Everything in its place. People can enjoy whatever they want to enjoy. I'm not going to say DJing's bad.
Okay, fair enough. And Dave, what's your take? To DJ or not to DJ?
I can't DJ at all. And I think it's very much in many ways like music. If you're an excellent DJ, then you have those skills, you engage the crowd, you're capable with the music side and decks and what you're doing. So I just think, like Mark, for your question, I just think things are changing. The excellent DJs will still create a lot of work and will have stuff happening. The excellent musicians, I feel like we now have, it just changes our skill set somewhat. Right. I think there's much more of a crossover between you know, if you go on tour doing your own stuff or you put on your own show, you have to promote it. It's entirely on you, and you're paying the fee for hiring a venue and your own sound gear and that sort of thing. So if no one turns up, it's all on you. Whereas we expect, you know, with a covers gig, we expect just to receive a fee. And I feel like maybe in the last little while, because things have been going well for venues and different, you know, that changes all the time. But I kind of feel like there's heaps of opportunity out there. It's just looking a little bit different than it was, perhaps, at the moment. And it's sort of an adjustment for us to be like, okay, maybe I need to shift a few things to make it work, because it definitely still can work very well.
Yeah, right. Okay. And Karen, thanks, Dave. That's good. And Karen, what's your take on DJing?
Everything's got their place, and when it comes to what I want to do, I'm no DJ. So I'm just going to go out and do the live stuff and have a bit of fun. And
okay,
you know, hopefully we'll all get back into our pubs and clubs and just, you know, otherwise we'll just do this.
Yes. Yeah. That's a good point. And we go to Michael. What's your point of DJing?
Okay, yeah, I actually want to address the other side of the other question. There was two parts of that question. So DJing's here to stay. We can't, for a while anyway. I'm not that keen on it, but it's back to life, and we have to start our act up as musos and that. But I want to address the other issue, because it's a big issue, and that's the thing around venues and alcohol. Now, the problem in Dunedin, as Nigel referred to at Wellington, it's quite different. The thing in Dunedin is a lot of people, a pint of beer is like $10 or $12 in some cases, and they can't afford it. You know, they're living 15 minimum wage. You know, that's like 3/4 of an hour's wage. So to go to a venue, they've got to get a taxi, jump in a taxi, go. You know, sometimes pay a cover charge or not, and then if they have 2 or 3 beers, well, that's a lot of money. So, but the problem is, and I actually put a lot of thought into this. Most of that beer is taxed, and we're in New Zealand. Supermarkets are selling the stuff for about, you know, you can buy a dozen for about the same price as a pint, or, you know, or 2 pints, at least 2 pints. So what we should be doing is let's get rid of the tax on alcohol that's sold at live venues, and so that actually encourages the people to come. Rather than stay home in front of the 50-inch LCD screen watching movies, you know, getting sloshed on cheap beer, they can actually afford to come to a venue and see live music. That is probably a bigger issue than the DJs.
Right. Okay, and we got a point here from Debbie. It's okay. We have participated plenty of times in a band being out the back and the DJ in the front bar. Both have kept the place pumping for hours. They can work together. Yeah, I agree with that. And I'll just put you on mute for a second. We'll just see if LA. So Nigel, I think you're up next to be swapped out for a sec. We'll see if LA is. But don't hang up. Don't hang up. We see. Here we go. And Kurt, what's your take on DJing, Kurt?
Well, it's a medium of both, eh? You know, you need both, you know.
Okay. Very short and sharp to the point, Dave. Oh, Kurt?
Yeah.
Sorry, read the wrong name. Sorry. Okay, cool. So let's go to, I'll just see if we got any more. Here's one more question from Veronica. I have a number of small and large venue visual arts options, example, festival, dance floors that becomes canvas for a crowd to spread paints or for a smaller scale artist seminar workshops, doubling as models for artist groups or party groups. Okay, cool. That's awesome. So you might want to cross collaborate after this chat and reach out and add Veronica. So let's go to some rock and roll road stories. I want to hear all the dirt and grime and the funniest, most embarrassing or unbelievable. So actually, I might start first. So in New Zealand, the first gig on tour, when I went on New Zealand, I was playing with the Angel Oils Divinal show. My luggage got lost. I didn't get it for like 2 or 3 days. I can't remember exactly when it came back. But anyway, the first venue we went to, the sound guy didn't know how to drive the desk. And So that was quite interesting. So I had to go upstairs because the sound desk, it was in a theater actually. So it was like in the crow's nest. So to get up into the front of house, I had to climb up this little pirate ladder and crawl in through a hole in the floor. It was really, really cool out of James Bond. But anyway, the moral of the story was it was very, very stressful for the band, blah, blah, blah. But anyway, that was my only New Zealand story. I have to work on it. But anyway, Dave, what's your funny New Zealand story?
You know what came to mind was actually just a show we did way too many gigs, 14 shows in 15 and a half days, both North and South Island, and didn't quite realize how exhausted we'd be. But we did this show in Hamilton, and we were already pretty knackered, and we set up, and like the bar didn't look open. We, posters and everything, like, yep, it's going to happen. Definitely should be good. And anyway, we had 4 people turn up, and these people had driven in like a reasonably sized pub venue, and these beautiful people had driven from Auckland to Hamilton to see us.
Oh wow!
And well, the show went on, but it was like the most odd. Where like, part of me was just like, can we just all have beers and hang out together, and then but no, I think it's one of those things where it was like, it was really, I look back at now and I think, Hamilton, never again. No. But I just thought it was cool because on the one hand I was like, oh man, like I really want to be asleep, and like we probably just shouldn't have booked this show. On the other hand, I'm like, this is super freaking cool. Like, people have driven for 2 hours to come and see us. Like, they didn't get the memo that they were going to be the only people that were wanting to come and see us that day. But yeah, no, it's, I don't know, odd times.
Okay. That's pretty funny. That's pretty funny. And over to Karen, your rock and roll story. What's the craziest thing that's happened to you playing music?
It was ages and ages ago. Had this pub band down in Christchurch, well, in Rangiora, and our drummer used to go out and get high. And I was the front girl, and we were sitting in the singing the song, and he's sitting there and he's drumming away, and he's got his eyes shut, and he's really enjoying his music because he was so off his face. And the next thing, the drum kit went flying because this guy just punched him, sent everything flying, because he goes, "Hey, you're looking at my girl," and he goes, "No." My eyes shut, mate. And it was really so we had to try and get everything all set back up so we could keep going. Show must go on, it's true.
Wow. Looking at you, I did not expect a violent story from you. That's awesome.
No, it was really funny though. It was hilarious.
That's awesome. And yeah. Michael, a rock and roll story. I'll just unmute you. There we go.
Yeah. I can't really tell the funniest stories because you know what they say, what occurs on excursions will remain on excursion, and I can't really say it in public. But I'll tell you one story.
Good on you, Mike.
We were playing down in Invercargill, and I won't say the name of the venue, but cool venue actually. But we got there. The system set up for a DJ, and they said, "Oh yeah, the guy that runs the power will be there." They couldn't get it to go, and they finally rang another venue, got somebody around. They all helped each other out. It was really good. Got it to go. But anyway, we went on stage, which was a 3-hour gig, all originals. And I was already concussed. I won't go into that, but there was a low PA speakers hanging from the ceiling, quite low, not all that tall, and they're painted black. In the middle of the third song, I smashed my head quite badly on this metal thing underneath the speaker, and it was blood pouring out of it, pouring all over my ear and down, And I saw a few stars, a few constellations, and Venus and Mars and stuff. And it wasn't too well, but you tell you what, I felt it hit. And I thought, you know what, I'm not going to let this get me down. Nobody noticed. I didn't miss a beat, and it was like the third song in. We had a 3-hour gig. We got through. Greg, bass player, he was on the other side. He did it. He's about the same size as me, and he did it. He's gone his head, and the tour manager smacked his head, and he's a shorty at the end of it when we're packing up. So yeah, so you got venues. Please make sure that your gear is higher if it's going to hang it from a ceiling that's way above the stage, and it's not painted black underneath, so you scone yourself.
Good advice. So, LA, rock and roll story. Thank you, Michael. Oh, we got no audio, LA. You might have to unplug your and replug. Are you there? You might have to reboot your phone. Maybe quickly go do that. And Nigel, have to unplug and replug.
Yeah, well, not me. I'm sticking with the Michael. I'm sticking with the Michael rule, which is what goes on tour might have to stay on tour. I mean, we've all done various silly things or things that you have to on tour, like wear your socks inside out so they last an extra day and all sorts of things like that.
Just your socks.
Yeah. Okay. Below here, you don't know what's going on. Two very brief things. One of which is slightly weird, and Karen talked about it earlier, which is a gig on the Inter-Islander. Now, this is the fabulous journey that goes between North and South Island, and they support bands by letting them play on the ferry for free. So it's the only way to make a tour viable sometimes. But it does mean having to start your gig at 9 a.m. and it's the only time you start a gig at 9 a.m. when everyone's in the bleary-eyed queue for the coffee and everything, and gradually find out. When you get Irish tourists, obviously there aren't any now, but it's brilliant because you can have a great laugh with them and the whole place is swinging. But it's kind of weird stuff. The other one's a really special one, rather than embarrassing one. So sorry about this, but last time I was in France, and it was a bit of a tour, but also a holiday with some friends. We went to this little town called Saint Antonin Nobleval. It's a medieval town, all these wonderful stone buildings everywhere to die for.
Can you say the name again?
They have these Saint Antonin Nobleval. It's near Toulouse, in Sweden, southern France. They have these squares with all these really high buildings that are all stone. And we befriended this Aussie in an art gallery, funnily enough. And he says, "Oh, just go and sing and play out in front." And I had that guitar, the Tagwood, with me. Can't remember why. So we ended up as a 4-piece because we do a cappella stuff and we do harmonies. We were singing in front of his art gallery in this town square, and people came through and stopped. But I'm a lover of natural acoustics, and to be honest, the natural acoustics of 4 voices in harmony in this little enclosed medieval town square were to die for. I almost shat myself. It was that good. It was just a wonderful experience. So going away and having experiences doesn't necessarily mean embarrassing or bad ones. It can be something really uplifting and life-changing almost as well.
Yeah, it's amazing you say that, because even the art of making a church acoustically, when you walk in,
churches are especially good acoustics.
Right. I mean, they've actually practiced the art of making churches didn't just happen overnight. It's like thousands of years old, right? So it's amazing the acoustic chambers that they do. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. And who are we up to? Kurt is off chasing the cat. So anyway,
Kurt and the cat.
Kurt and the cat. It's the only guest I've ever interviewed. Every time I look at him, he's not there.
The cat's there.
The cat's there.
The cat. Yeah, the cat's there. With the guitar.
You want the cat?
Oh, there he is. He's blending into the. Oh. There we go.
Oh, go on. He's like a Bond villain now.
Yeah.
So, Kurt, rock and roll story.
Oh, what's a rock and roll story?
We can't see you.
No.
That's rock and roll. Oh, yeah. It's like Rodriguez.
Jeez, far out. I'm going to come up with a shit. I don't know. I'm left on the spot.
I will come back to you then. I'll just see if LA's got her Jimi Hendrix feedback going.
Yeah.
Just be 1 second. So where is, there we go. LA?
So, can you hear me this time?
Yay.
Yay! I've been lip syncing to nothing. Okay. Whoop, whoop. Anyway, quick rock and roll story. Well, it kind of is. At 21 years of age, living in Thames, jumped on a Yamaha AT. My girlfriend and I screamed off to do a Stars in Your Eyes with Ray Wolf hosting. It was a television contest to get on TV. I turn up and on the motorbike, I thought I was going to be singing a Boy George song. They didn't know it. I had to sing Patsy Rigger's song, Beautiful Lady. So I get up there and I sing it. I didn't think I was going to get through because there was another woman that I thought would get through and she didn't. So I proceeded to drink copious amounts of DB or some bloody drink. I don't know what the hell it was, but
Do you have DB? We have VB.
Yeah, well, I'm not drinking your Fosters ever again, I can tell you. So Pinot Gris, Pinot Noir, a vodka, not so bad, but beer, But anyway, I proceeded to just drink, and party with our table of people that I didn't know, doing true rock and roll, living the life. Didn't think of having to ride back to Thames, of course, back in the day. So, yeah, came my name. Semi-finals, go through, and I get up on stage. All I can remember is watching this woman holding her baby dancing, and I never, because I didn't have my glasses on, I couldn't see everyone going like this at me saying sing up, sing up, sing up, because obviously I was so drunk my voice sunk down into my stomach somewhere. And that was the end of any aspirations to ever enter a telequest ever again. Yeah, so didn't ride home. I made really good friends. Well, I was just too pissed to sing. I shouldn't have got back up. Okay.
So there was no vomit.
No, there was no coming back. There was no ever. I was never ever trying out for a television show ever again, Talent Quest or other. That was it for me. I thought, well, I've done my dash, and I've blown it. Because Ray Wolf, happening. That's it. I'm out of there. So we didn't ride home. But I made best friends with the woman who I thought got through, her and her husband, and I became really good friends. And I turned up at her house on her wedding anniversary, unbeknownst to me. So, that's what you do.
Oh, wow. And, so can you explain to the Aussie viewers who Ray Wolf is? Is that in relation to Ray Martin?
No, Ray Wolf was, he always had a beard. I remember that, but like David, always had a beard.
Darren Hinch.
He was a one of New Zealand's top voices, I guess, for a lot of years.
He's a granddaddy.
Granddaddy of pop. And you had the chicks, you had it happening, you had Tina Cross, you had Ray Columbus.
Is that Christopher's
Tom
brother?
Sharplin.
yeah, Christopher's brother.
So the long story short,
Christopher Columbus.
They were all like 10 years my senior, so I idolized them. I wanted to be them when I grew up. I think we mentioned this in the last show. Yeah, so by the time I got there, all the shows had gone, and I was left drunk on the stage at 21. And the rest is history. I've had a great ride. Thank you very much. Yes.
I'll just quickly just see what I'll just maybe Dave, I'll just pull you for a second, see what Kurt's up to.
Can we see him?
Kurt
Nothing.
Cat.
Yeah.
Kurt, come
What the hell?
Kurt.
There's even an empty guitar stand there. He has missing a guitar and a cat and a Kurt.
Oh, he's probably taking the cat for a walk. This is funny.
I'm going to have a little chat to all of you.
Okay. Oh, well,
sorry,
bring back Dave. There we go. What the hell going on? He's probably gone
You feel
down
like the Brady Bunch.
I was tempted to come back with just missing.
Night, John boy. Oh, man.
Hey, Veronica,
Hey,
how you going? So,
just say one. Sorry.
yeah, go.
Thing.
That's it.
Now,
Thank you.
Karen.
And next, no, just kidding. Yes, go.
I am definitely coming over to Brisbane to have a chat with you. Now,
All right.
no, I'm kidding. But I will come to Brisbane. Karen Davey was going to join us tonight, and I'm sad to see that she must have had a glitch with her computer or something. Karen Davey is one of the Variety Artists Club's, I think she's the vice president. She's the Dreams Experience Fleetwood Mac. She's a gorgeous person. She's one of the singers of Toucan, which is Ken and Karen. She also does the Dolly Parton tribute show.
Wow.
Now, Karen submitted a second song. It took me 2 years to talk her into the first one. And then I got the second one this year, which I'm wrapped. She's written so many songs, that woman, but you can't squeeze them out of someone who is so busy doing covers and tribute shows. So I'm hoping to co-write with Karen, like I'd love to co-write with Karen sometime. And you never know, David might get a twisted arm one day if he likes this show enough. And I haven't burned all my bridges yet.
Fair enough.
No.
So maybe we got to.
Thanks.
Yeah, no, that's cool. That's cool. And I think it's really good also, LA, that the platform you're providing to actually put together. So what does LMM stand for again?
Local Musicians Music.
Right. So it's a group or a foundation or an entity that helps put artists together, right?
It's a platform to...
Platform. There we go. Platform.
Okay. So Local Musicians Music started off as compilation albums that I would take to radio. I managed to get 10 of the songs on More FM. Coromandel, I managed to get a lot of interviews.
There we go.
19 tracks. There it is. Do it again. Yeah. Oh,
what's the back of it look like?
Yeah. No,
that's
volume 3.
That's LA's guitar.
That's volume 3.
Wow.
So
that's cool.
That was what, 3 years ago? That was 3 years ago. Yeah.
Wow.
So we had two more since. Volume 4 and 5.
Just once. Only keep going. Keep going.
Volume 4, Volume 5 are available on Bandcamp only at the moment.
Okay, I think Kurt's got one volume here. Have a look.
Yeah.
And no. So. Oh man,
we're going to be playing "Where's Kurt" for the rest of the week.
Yes.
We're going to write a song about "Where's Kurt."
Where's Kurt? Okay, so maybe so that's great, LA, that you've provided that platform. That was actually very good.
I didn't get a chance to actually say what it's about. So just very briefly, it's not.
Go for it.
It's not just about local. It's publishing. I'm an independent publisher on behalf of independent artists. The songs that are submitted can also be submitted on their own as well. They don't just have to be part of the compilation. The individuals have had music videos, so we're a network of very high-end Moments Productions based in Wellington. Byron Taylor has filmed several very, very good music videos. One actually won an award for the Vodafone Awards in Wellington. Not one he did for our team. But seriously, it's a network of anything and everything to do with the music industry and beyond. Because as a network, I've organised lots of discounts for places to stay, discounts for music videos. Instead of paying $3,500, it might cost $1,000. It's still going to cost you.
Yeah.
But you're going to get a good product at a good price at a TV quality. Same with connecting people to producers, to radio, to people like David. Like David's got his own, correct me if I'm wrong, David, but David's got his own company, or at least network himself, of doing videos. And I remember you did that video for lots of people at a really reasonable rate, and that was awesome. So I went to David and said, look, could you make me a promo? And he did. I just sent him a whole lot of footage and out popped a promo. So this is what the network's about. Cool. With you, you're now part of our network, Doug.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, well, then I have a question for you. Yeah. I have a question for you, LA. So for all the Aussie people listening,
sure.
Do you connect with Australian artists on whatever you're doing?
Totally. Anyone
or
in the world.
International artists.
We've got a French songwriter, Canadian who came over here. Correct me if I'm wrong, but there's a few English people who are now New Zealanders. We've got a couple in Australia. We haven't got any reggae yet, so I'm hoping that a reggae song and an R&B song would come. We've got a lot of country pop.
I think Kurt's actually working on some reggae now. No, look.
Come on, Kurt.
Oh man, that's island style, man. That's.
Oh
Maybe he's gone to bed.
He's asleep, mate. The kids kept him awake. He's a school teacher. He's probably tired. I can't believe it. He's
that is just
he's
funny.
Not there.
He's fallen
That's
asleep.
hilarious.
He's not.
Okay, so we have a actually serious question here from Mr. Mark. So,
Okay.
next, so maybe Nigel, if you want to kick it off there, Nigel. So, what is the most frustrating hurdle you as artists are facing now, other than COVID? So, obviously
Not
COVID.
19 anymore.
Other than COVID, obviously COVID kind of dwarfs everything else, and it's it's kind of the only frustration we really have over the last couple of months. I think for specialist genre, one of the frustrations for me is trying to organise a tour, which is a bit like banging your head against a brick wall, as some of you know who've contacted an umpteen number of venues and organisers to get something going, and then try and shuffle the pack so you all things. So my rule of thumb is I never drive for more than 5 hours on a gig day. Otherwise, I get too knackered. Hey, I love driving.
You should probably wear pants next time you drive. Then.
No idea what's going on down here.
Sorry. So yeah, okay, keep going.
On a warm day, it does. Anyway, the frustrating thing is for folk, all the music clubs and folk clubs are really focused on what's happening amongst their audience and the organizer and their friends in their town. And I've had this from international artists as well who thought about touring New Zealand but get really frustrated. They can't kind of organize a tour of all the clubs and good venues that goes like that, because that one will meet on the first Tuesday of the month, but the next one meets on the third Thursday of the month, and the next one meets on the second Sunday. And you're going, for crying out loud, will you just sit together in a room and organise how you can get a major artist to do a tour around the country, and then we'll get them, and then we can do it as well. They just so into their tiny... I hope none of them are listening, by the way, because I've probably lost they're just so into their local thing that they don't realise that if they just open themselves up to a bigger picture, they'd get more wonderful things happening for them as well. Yes. That's my main frustration, I think.
Okay, Can I just say something on that note too? Just to back up what Nigel's saying. Years ago, I was involved in the Green Lane music studio in Green Lane. There's a young European guy came over, group of 12 blokes got together. Now, one gentleman by the name of a Māori fella, that's shocking, awesome guy, Nick Hohepa, who played drums for me once. Hi, Nick, he's over in Germany still to this day, I think, still writing great music. Now, Nick got James from the UK to not only do an internet business, but to get involved in his music. And what they tried to do is they set up a website to connect every single open mic in New Zealand onto this website. Now, it would have been perfect, okay? And some of the clubs, they tried to do what the RSAs have done. They tried to do what, and the RSA is one of the main places that actually has got a network where you can go to one-stop shop. Now, I tried to do it with the LMM network, and I haven't succeeded completely, but we're getting there. It'd be great to have that one-stop shop where every open mic place or every club could list Monday to Sunday, coordinate, and then you could just pick and choose. I'm going to be there, and there. Without that, we're scrambling around all the time. Now, we're only a small country here in New Zealand, and I'm a systems person, so I know how to connect the dots, but there's no way I can get clubs and open micers to agree to be on that one website. And that's a real shame, because if they did come to the LMM network even, or even if somebody else wants to do it, because it's a lot of work, you need a small team, you need one admin person in each of the main centres and all the little towns, just to submit their email, their link, their schedule, so that we can see it and we can look at it ourselves as artists or as managers and go, right, I'm going from here to here, to here, and book it. And it is possible. But people won't do it because they're all in their little clique. So wake up.
I understand.
We need to wake up.
That's a good point.
Having little cliques in this music industry. It's ridiculous.
And I guess another thing is with the earthquake, because I know that, as I mentioned before, whilst touring, Got no idea where I was because we had a GPS and it didn't work, so it was just next to useless. So, having no idea all these other back roads, going over and under just to get around the broken roads. But over to Dave, we'll go to Dave. What's been your greatest difficulty besides COVID? Getting back to Mark's, most frustrating. Maybe it's new technology.
Oh, honestly, at the moment, I feel like my most frustrating issue is jumping between the many hats I'm doing. Like I'm really enjoying a lot of things, and I think it's in many ways a real cool time for music because if you want, you can create, record, and obviously it's going to take a lot of time to learn the skills to mix well and master, and we've got the choice to do any or nice, Nigel. But we can do any or as much of it as we want, and pass off as much as we want also, and pay someone skilled in that area to do it. But yeah, my most frustrating thing is like juggling, being like, right, I want to create like a film and do that, or film myself live and record it and share that, and at the same time being like, I want to be working on my original tunes and songwriting and also recording, rather than being like, cool, I'm a songwriter.
Right.
Be like, I'm gonna palm off promotion and all that sort of stuff, and maybe that's just saying it now, I'm like, it's kind of is a personal choice because I enjoy those things too, but it's sort of like this. It's like doing stuff online and being social and putting yourself out there and all the connections and things I love. But equally, if I wasn't doing this, like I could be practicing, I could be finishing writing, I could be editing film. Maybe that's what Kurt's doing. He's multitasking. He's on here. He's actually finishing off mastering his album and just ducking back and forth. So,
yes, that's what he's doing. Yes, absolutely. Yes.
I saw the
shiny thing.
I saw the camera just fade to black. So I think it's fallen off the bench, and I've lost the connection.
It has faded to black.
Maybe the cat got it. I don't know.
Yeah, the cat's
so I think great feedback there, David, about because when you're so busy in life and you go, I'm going to get to that, I'm going to get to that when I have time, and now you got time focusing on one thing, and I really like what you said, trying to multitask between juggling how and where. I know with doing all these live streams, learning the platforms, like they're brand new, brand new, and so I'm actually experimenting with a multicam input into this software, which didn't really work too well. So I might have to use an external switcher, which is brand new to me because I don't know anything. Well, I do know a lot now, but I didn't 2 weeks ago. I didn't know anything about video switching live, So, but now I have to learn it.
Good.
Yeah, new skill. Okay, Karen, what is the most frustrating thing that you've had to learn, or just full stop?
Well, we probably shouldn't go there, But anyway, with the COVID thing, it's been being off work and having plenty of time. Organised, I've written 7 songs in a week, but I haven't finished any of them because there's always something else to do. And just before that happened, I bought myself an Apple Mac to learn how to program and do my own music and all of that, and make videos, and I'm still learning, and I want to be finished learning. I want to have it done so that I can share. So it's just I keep chopping from everything because I want to finish stuff. I'm not achieving it.
Did you say chip chopping?
Yeah, chip chopping.
I've never heard of that before. It must be a New Zealand
I made
thing.
it up. No, I made it up.
You made it up.
It's
According
a
to
new
the
word.
thing across the bottom, we're supposed to make some noise.
chopping.
Chip chopping is Karen's.
Chip chopping.
So that's a new
Chip
word.
chopping.
It's a title for a song.
I could-
Chip chopping.
So
I
there's
was
a chip, and you
thinking
chop the
the
chip. Chip chopping.
Yeah.
There you go. I just learned a new word for my. Thank you very much. Okay, so over to Michael. Here we go, Michael. So,
Whoops.
what's been the most frustrating hurdle for you as an artist besides COVID?
Yeah, well, probably the most frustrating thing at the moment, I could bang on about like lack of venues and all that sort of stuff, but that's not it. What it is our band. We've got a bunch of songs that we want to record, and you know, we've got like, you know, the radios are playing and stuff and this and there's interest there, but we're heading towards the final album. Boys, just getting it that we've got like, you know, we've all got busy lives, and getting the three of us together in a studio to bang out. I mean, I've probably got like 10 songs I'd love to get down. They go, well, how do we do it? It's a lot of time. Like we do work for a living.
I totally relate to Chip Chopin.
Yeah.
Chip Chopin, who was that?
We get it done. And the studios are full. You know, how do you actually do it? You know, and I wish I was like Pink Floyd or something like that. You know, and some record company just chucks, you know, unlimited budget. Yeah, you guys knock your jobs off, go to the studio for like
8 boxes right here.
Oh wow.
Unlimited budget egg boxes right here.
Yeah.
Oh, you got egg cartons on your wall?
Yes.
Yes.
What?
For recording.
Yes.
You've really got egg cartons on your wall?
They really,
and
we really ate all the eggs. You didn't want to be in the same room as me for a while.
Wow. Hang on. We got chip chopping and egg. Can you zoom into the egg cartons? Let's zoom into the egg cartons.
Look at that.
What the hell? Oh.
There's more kind of there and there and.
Hang on, count them. How many dozen? How many dozen?
Too many. I mean, there's what? 2, 4, 6, 8, 2, there's about 40 egg boxes, so there's about 400 eggs worth on that one. And I've got some more in the cupboard that I haven't actually strung up yet. And then I've got a duvet over a cupboard there, and a bubbly mattress over the thing here. So it's
that's
quite
rock and roll, man.
It's acoustic engineering. Well, Kiwis are so DIY. I mean, Kiwis actually do things on stuff all. Money. Yeah. You have a look at the Auckland Harbour Bridge. It's not big enough. Everything is done on the cheap.
That is awesome,
egg
man.
Boxes, I haven't got the eggs cheap. Egg boxes they do actually work. I tell you honestly, they
do.
Free range eggs, I hope. There we go.
Yes, they were free range eggs. I didn't have to chase the chickens, but in my dreams from now on, I probably will.
Wow. I just thought, I actually didn't know what I was looking at. I was like, that's a kind of weird 3D curtain there. You know, so,
think of it as art. Think of it as art with a practical purpose.
Oh my God, Nigel, that is amazing.
I love it.
Oh,
I love it.
Far out.
This is why
it did take a while.
I invited Nigel on the show. I knew.
Yeah, because of his egg cartons.
I started collecting them when I lived in George Street, which is what Michael referred to.
Yep.
When Shirley stayed on the couch, that was in George Street when I started collecting those.
Really?
All right.
All that time?
Oh, wow.
Someone was going to throw them out. We almost had a fight.
Scrambled. You know,
you two nearly had a fight?
I never.
No. Me and a flatmate. They were going to throw out one of these empty egg boxes. I went, no!
Hang about. We were
I've been collecting them for
so long. Eggs in the morning, Mr. Nigel Parry.
So you are the first person, you know, as growing up here in Australia, like, oh yeah, you should use egg cartons. You're actually the first person I've ever seen, and I've seen a lot of studios who've actually uses egg cartons.
Actual egg cartons. You've got to use the cheap free range ones because the boxes are ever so slightly fluffy. They're not the really hard ones. So
here we go, Deb. But it absorbs sound pretty well.
It actually does. It's with the other bits and pieces around. When I start recording, it is like walking into a zone of quiet, having cost stuff all. So there are compromises, I have to admit.
What's the name of your studio? Little Yoke.
That was a little.
Oh man, that's next level, man. That is next level.
Oh,
I think I might have thrown a few egg cartons.
Love it.
There we go. Okay, so maybe two more questions. So if we go reverse way, so back to Michael. Just sorry, before I got distracted by the egg carton. Sorry, Michael. I understand what you were saying about too many options because I'm in the middle of a video for a guy in Germany, and I've got a few things on, plus talk shows. I never, 6 weeks, no, maybe 8 weeks ago now, I didn't think I'd be putting together talk shows. And this week is my record. I'm pumping out 9 in 1 week. So,
wow.
2 weeks ago, I did 3 in one night, and then went to work the next day because I'm a musical director by day. So it was
Rock and roll.
Chook. Yeah, there we go. Chook Studios. There we go. So if we go back to chip chopping chook. Chip chopping chook.
Well, it comes from the back. Yeah. Come to New Zealand, you trucks. Come on, Tim.
New Zealand. Okay, so second last question. So back to Michael. So about your studio space. So this is actually influenced by Nigel. Do you have to be aware of actually rehearsing at volume? And I know that you've got a ukulele and all that kind of stuff there, but even with the live band, is that such a thing? Because you live in Dunedin, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I went to Dunedin. You have the old town in Dunedin. Is it the old town?
Yeah, it is pretty old. Yeah.
And you've got a reef full of locomotives. They put the steam trains actually in the coral in the ocean. Because I'm a train buff, so I went over there and rode all your trains. Actually,
sounds like Oamaru.
And also,
I don't know if that
in New Zealand,
like
Oamaru, yeah, because the South Island has the longest tunnel in the world. Yeah, longest train tunnel in the world.
Yeah.
And if anyone's watching, here I am thinking, oh, this is going to be so cool to go in the longest tunnel in the world. And what do you see? Just pitch black. So,
and you come out on the other side, and there's nothing town called Otira, which nobody ever lives there or wants to go there. So the train
I
just
went there yesterday.
I bet it was shut.
They have great honey.
Oh, wow. All right. So anyway,
somebody bought the pub and got the whole town with it.
Yeah, he bought the town. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Leicester. Okay. I met him yesterday.
I've actually played in that pub, but it's not a story. But...
Oh, here we go. Debbie's asking, but do they have egg cartons?
No.
New Zealand's beautiful.
I've got them all.
Okay, so back to sorry, Michael, about studio proofing or soundproofing. Do you have to worry about that?
Well, hey, we record in it. Like, we've got a band, so we record. We use actual proper recording studios for that. I just like to play. I understand all the technology. But our band practice room, I did get in the crap a few years ago with a neighbour. So our bass player graciously built a soundproof room. Greg's our bass player. And so we've got in his place, a soundproof room. Got a drum kit set up there. It's my kit that my son used to play on. It's a cool little kit. And our main amps are there. And the PA, and we just set all that. We just walk in there and practice. So we can practice there. But we can practice at a reasonable volume. But actually we've learned how to play quietly, so therefore we can play in a lot of small venues. So that's important for the band.
Come on.
Otherwise,
really,
you do these gigs and people just run away, and I see that time again with other bands. It doesn't work. You've got to actually think of your crowd. So we've learned that. So we use small amps. And we can still rock out, use distortion and all that where it's appropriate. And just rock out.
On ukulele.
Ukulele.
It sounds amazing.
Ukulele and guitar. Yeah.
Do you have distortion on the ukulele?
A lot.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, you have to look us up on YouTube.
I've heard it firsthand. Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah, we've got a song called Wilson Parking, and that's a nasty foreigner. I don't know if you got them over. I think Wilson Parking. They're ripping a lot of people off. So we wrote a song about it. It's a long story, and there's distorted ukulele. People think it's a guitar, but it's on YouTube, it's on radio and stuff. But it's distorted ukulele.
So you're a punk band with ukulele.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And guitar.
That is awesome.
It is.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome.
You can see why.
Well, if you check out.
You can see.
Yeah.
Check out Catharticus on YouTube. You'll see it. You'll see what that is.
Okay, cool. Yeah, man.
Doug,
yeah, that's awesome. Yep.
Doug, can I just to bring it back in just for a moment, back into the fact that every person tonight is part of, has had a part in the LMM network. I just wanted to remind our fantastic people out there, thank you so much for putting up with our tomfoolery. It's been fantastic. Come to New Zealand, like this is what you're in for. You're in for a hell of a ride. It's lots of fun, lots of impromptu stuff. Everything from your egg cartons to your blimmin', your punk rock on an electric distorted ukulele.
That's cool, man.
I'll build you a ukulele with a distortion pedal, okay?
Yeah, cool. I would actually like that.
But no, quite seriously, if you want to submit songs still, even though I'm doing singles for the Local Musicians Music now. So you can find us on www.localmusicians.co.nz. So. Okay.
That's awesome. Sorry, but I will have a space just at the end for your socials. Okay. Chicken or the wall? Which came first? Chicken or the wall?
The chicken or the egg?
Oh, Brad, that is gold. Okay, so
all in all, another egg in the wall.
Good on you, LA Thompson. That's awesome.
Sweet,
over to Karen, and we're coming back. I'll come back to you. Sorry to cut you off there, LA. I'll come back to you in a second.
That's all right.
Karen, because we're doing a circle, Karen. Where do you rehearse? Because this is our second last question.
Where do I rehearse? In this room, which is actually my bedroom. And I know I've got an office that is got no windows, no nothing, and I'm going to get some egg cartons for my office because that's where I plan to do my recording. But I bought a house with sheep as neighbours, so no one complains.
I shouldn't be laughing. Sorry.
And it's actually got a distillery next door, so I'm set.
That's awesome.
They make gin and bourbon and all sorts.
So you actually live next door to a distillery?
Yeah.
How do you actually rehearse if you're drunk with your shit?
No, I'm not. But no, I just basically play out in my bedroom and set up the amp and just go for it, have fun.
Fair enough.
When I do the live streams, I do them in here as well. I'm chip chopping everything.
There's a new gesture for you, chip chop. Yeah. So over to David. So with rehearsing, Dave, I'm not sure what kind of act you actually rehearse, whether it's just solo or live, but soundproofing your space. So you an egg cartoner? I just made up a new verb.
An egg cartoner. I like it. No. I've done some recording and things with the
they were so great. I agree.
I think
David.
It's going to be great. No, I like it. I think anyone that expectations of New Zealand now will just legit be that you hire a practice room and it's either going to have sheep sort of stuck against the wall or egg cartons, depending on where in the country you are.
Right.
Yeah.
I've just had to mute the girls so we can hear you. I've just muted the girls so I can hear you. So. Yeah.
No, I've got an acoustic act and with violin is the main combo at the moment.
Acoustic and violin. That is awesome.
Yeah. And
electric?
Yeah.
Sick.
Well, actually,
distortion.
It's a beautiful natural violin with a pickup put into it.
That's awesome.
Don't give it to me because it'll be an awful show if I pick it up at any stage. But so we've done mostly we just do the home thing and try not to do everything at 2 a.m. Done the occasional beach practice or park bench.
Do you do
it's usually not that productive because everyone stops to chat to you.
So do you do the Michael Flatley Lord of the Flies? Lord of the Dance. Sorry. Do you do...
People have suggested that I dance quite like a fly at times. I'm not sure what they're trying to say, but
I'm going to get in trouble. I'm going to keep the household awake at this time.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to bail soon.
Okay, yeah, we're nearly done. Okay, but that's awesome, man. I'm glad that you actually divulged what type of ensemble. And also Michael too. And and Nigel, like and Karen, all of you, like it's cool that it's just different ensembles. It's not just standard. I can't wait to check out more of your music. So over to, we'll come back to LA last, but Nigel, obviously you started this whole thing about egg cartoning. So what actually motivated you, Nigel, to steal your chicken egg cartons?
A chicken egg, nice, nicely nested joke there, I thought, Doug.
I can't believe I just did that. Sorry about that, guys. I lost my mind for a minute.
Coming on to practice, I mean, I practice in here, I practice elsewhere in the house if it's acoustic stuff, especially solo stuff. And here's where I very often do recording with other musicians as well. Coming back to the LMM thing, a couple of guys who are in a duo together, Pete and Daryl. I've had them in here doing backing vocals to a song I'm just finishing at the moment, and it sounds absolutely freaking awesome with their voices on it. I mean, another group we've just started called the Folk Roots Collective. That again is acoustic folk music, so we can just practice in people's houses. Even with acoustic stuff, you've got to be a bit careful. If you've got someone who's quite enthusiastic on a cajon, the neighbours downstairs can actually notice quite aggressively, I've discovered.
Well, that's a comment for you there, Nigel, this one.
Yeah. Is it that or that one? Talking of that, just brief aside, I'm Nigel Parry, and there's another musician up the coast called Nigel Parry, and there's another one I've befriended on Facebook who's in Minnesota in the US called Nigel Parry, and we've got this secret plan. We're going to get together, probably in one of our houses, and put together the Nigel Parry Band, just simply so when we play a gig, and at the end of the gig, you know how people come up to you and ask inane questions? Someone's going to come up to us and say, which one of you is Nigel Parry? And we can all go like that.
That's awesome. That's awesome. That's fantastic. So, and over to LA, second last question. Oh, you've got to be yoking. There we go. And
I'm saving all these. I'm going to save all these.
Okay. Yeah, but well, please go through afterwards in all the comments and type in all your socials. I can say LA, second last question. Where do you rehearse?
I built a small house, 9 by 3 meters, and where my fridge is sitting is
out of egg cartons.
Big chopping board with like on wheels, and I've put the iMac there with the music system and everything. So I stand in the lounge, looking over 2 hectares of avocado orchard. And
That's awesome.
I rehearse there, and I record there, and invite people to come and have some fun there. And that's my studio, for now.
Oh, that's awesome.
Definitely. It's called Tahawai Cabin Retreat.
Right, so it must be really good actually getting back to nature and actually being influenced, or maybe even being away from industrial noise. I think we spoke about this before.
There are chickens, so if you want cartons and chickens and eggs, and I've got chickens, there's 6.
Chickens do not come with the cartons attached. I know.
Come and visit my chickens, have some more eggs.
I looked.
Okay.
I did look.
Last question, last round, and we'll just go back to Kurt. Oh no, we can't because his laptop's fallen off and it's gone. Okay. Oh, here we go. Poor thing. Feel sorry for you. Okay. Oh, she's been sarcastic, I think. You're living out in the wilderness. Well, I hope that was in time there, Deb. The last question. So maybe Michael, just words of advice for aspiring musicians. Obviously, you've been, on the cutting edge, being in a punk band with Distortion with the ukulele, which is sensational, man. That is awesome. I want to do it because I'm a shredder. I actually probably see here. This is something a friend of mine built. There's a guitar goes one each way, right?
Oh wow!
Veronica's still online. She's doing jokes on us. Veronica's doing jokes. Thank you.
But here we go. Sorry, what's Veronica saying? I was eggplanting is expensive. You're an egg, Doug. Thanks for that.
A good egg. You're a good egg.
You're a good.
Oh,
egg.
I'm a good egg. Sorry.
That's a good thing.
Thank you, Brad. So, chooks are cool, especially for Nigel. So anyway, getting back to Michael, words of advice for aspiring musicians. Especially, I really like how you are doing something different. So maybe if you can, any advice or I don't know, words of wisdom to anyone who wants to do something different. Michael.
Okay, yeah. I think if you're into it, passion is your friend. Passion and energy, and to kind of maintain that,
Okay, my
stay
battery's
away
gone.
from the source. Especially at gigs. Don't get.
Good.
Yeah, minimize the source and also the weed. I've seen too many really super talented musos just go down that route, and they're doing nothing. They're gone history. So you got to, and fitness is also your friend as well. If you're doing energy stuff, but yeah, keep passion and try not to despair. Depression is an enemy, and it can beat you around and stuff like that.
Depression.
You just got to keep. Depression. There's a lot of music industries like plagued by that.
Yeah, Michael's been doing the 25 press-ups, 25 days thing for depression.
Oh,
yeah,
good, man.
True. Yeah.
Well done, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Sensational.
That was a thing that was happening. So pretty much a bit like endurance car racing, like 500 kilometers or a 24-hour Le Mans. You gotta keep circulating, stay out on the track, keep going. Even if you go to if you turn up at a gig and there's 2 people there, give those 2 people the best show they've ever seen.
Awesome.
You just gotta. It's a lot of it's attitude. Yeah, and just don't throw the don't throw the towel on, don't split the dummy, don't throw your toys out of the cot. Because rejection does happen from time to time. And more often than not, you get experienced. You go through the school of hard knocks, then it gets better and better, and it's all about fun. And you've got to stay enjoying it. If you enjoy it and it's fun, keep going. As soon as the day becomes just a job, then it's over.
Yep.
We'll time to take a break.
Well said, man. I really like a lot of what you said there. Yeah, that's awesome. Great perspective.
Yeah.
Especially about the depression, man. I really like how vulnerable you're about that, and also you're doing the push-ups. So is it 25 push-ups a day for 25 days?
Yeah, there's a whole thing that was run around Facebook. You get nominated to, and it's just to bring the awareness of post-traumatic stress disorder, depression, anxiety, suicide, all that sort of stuff to the forefront. So we're all nominating each other. I got nominated, so you nominate others, and just there's a whole bunch of my mates still doing it on Facebook now.
That's awesome, man. Well, it's funny you said that because I actually did a record. This is my record, so I may as well do a shameless plug. I'll just zoom in. It's called Post-Traumatic Express. So it's exactly what you're talking about. It's a 5 stages of the grief. This is the train of depression, right? So instrumental. Look it up it's on Spotify. So I don't know if you guys might know who Steve Vai is. Does anyone know who Steve Vai is? No.
Yeah.
Name drop. So Steve Vai. Steve Vai's producer mastered my record, so I got to play on stage with Steve. And,
wow!
Yeah, you have to check out some of my shred videos. Anyway, sorry, but
yes, seen you shredding.
Oh, you have? Okay, fair enough.
Yeah,
I want to see you shredding, man.
No,
with
it
the
wasn't
egg
that
carton.
bad. Honest, it wasn't. It was good.
That's cool. Okay, so back to Karen. Closing advice for up and coming musicians while LA is in the background doing her thing.
Believe you can, because you can. Don't let anyone tell you that you're not as good as you think, because there's always the tall poppy thing. They want to bring you down. But my thing is that we're all talented in our own way, and just because you might not make it as you think you're going to, someone else might one day with the song that you wrote. Something that you wrote might touch somebody. You just don't know how things are going to progress, but believe you can, because you can. And this is what I wear on my arm. I can't even show you because I'm in the wrong place.
Oh, hang on. Let me zoom in. Let me zoom in. Here we go. And yep.
So basically it says, don't dream your life, live your dreams.
Sorry, what does it say again? Sorry, say that again.
Don't live your life. Don't dream your life, live your dreams. So
wow, I like it.
Yeah.
What? You were rock and roll. You were so unassuming. Like first you're telling us like violent stories, and now you got a tattoo. Like, what the hell?
Oh, but
So
that
unassuming.
that is something for me to read every time I go to play, because it took me a long time to actually believe I could do what I do. So what I'm saying to anyone else is, if you think you can, you can.
Wow.
That's
great advice. Great advice. It's sensational. And maybe if we go to, thank you, Karen, and thank you for the touch show as well. That's awesome. And
I got more.
and so we go to Dave. So words of advice for up and coming.
Ooh, I think one of my big things would be to listen to people that have actually done what it is you want to do. Mentors. Yeah,
Yep.
fully. And because in most cases, like what we want to do, I feel in so many industries and things like that, someone has done it, which means it's totally possible, and it's totally possible for you to do it. And I've just found like making a real point to get around the people that have not only done it, but will also encourage you. It just makes the whole journey a lot easier. When you do come up against the people that say, you'll never do that. And you're like, already doing it actually, but thanks.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So, yeah.
I like that what you're saying about mentors, because, the thing with YouTube, you can see a lot of action, but what YouTube doesn't, well, maybe it should, or maybe even right now, but we're sort of talking about concepts and learning about the real struggles. Like, sure, you can see someone who's done it, but for them to climb a mountain, they have to go over all these trials and tribulations to get the job done. But through a mentor, I love that concept. Being a mentor, you get to observe someone else, their emotional journey, if that makes sense. You don't just see the task accomplished. You actually see what it takes to get that. The psychology is probably what I'm trying to describe there.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's awesome, Dave. That's fantastic. So, there we go. And Debbie said that. So true. And Nigel, I don't know where LA is, but it's in California, actually.
Somewhere between here and LA. Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I like what Karen said, and so I'm going to get this out of the way first.
Cool.
Because what she said is pretty much that's my last CD.
Yeah,
and it's actually called "Row Out to Your Ship of Dreams," and that's
can we see that again, please?
Yes, you can see that again,
and just hold it still, very still.
Oh. The artwork, by the way, and it's on the inside as well, was done by my daughter, so the CD all lines up and everything in there. It's
wow! Look at that.
Yeah, it was a really special thing to do, a really cool thing. But the title track is called "Row Out to Your Ship of Dreams." It's actually an award-winning song now, and that's all about.
Well done, man.
Thank you. That's all about basically don't sit on the beach or on the quayside waiting for your ship of dreams to come to you. Row out to your ship of dreams. So that's how I'd like to start my advice. Pursue your dreams. Don't just sit there waiting for you. However, there's a load of buts involved in this. One of them, the best bit of advice for anyone ever on the planet, as far as I'm aware, was actually Woody Allen was once asked, "What's the secret to success?" And his answer was 2 words: turn up. And the more you think about it, the more it works. If you go to where music is, where musicians are, turn up. If you're supposed to be somewhere, turn up.
Yeah.
If you're supposed to be rehearsing with a band, mentally turn up. You've practiced, you're physically in the present in the room. You're not sort of going through the motions while you're looking at your phone and wondering what you're going to have for tea and where your beers have gone because the bassist has drunk them all. You're actually physically there. So turn up works in so many ways. The other thing is just go along and pursue your dreams, but don't expect to be discovered, and then maybe you will. There's quite a number of people, and I run open mics, and I've been around a bit, who come along and they have this expectation that they're the greatest and they just need to be discovered, and it doesn't matter how they behave. Trust me. The other big advice: don't be a dick. Don't be a dick. ever, no matter how famous you are, the most respected, greatest artists in the world are usually the nicest people, not the dicks.
Yeah.
So try and be the nicest, greatest artist in the world, not the horriblest. And we talked about mentors. And yeah, if you somebody who will actually maybe encourage you and guide you as well, the two things that you really need, find that person, but also just as importantly, be that person. So there are people, when you've played half a dozen open mics, you'll see someone who's never played one before, who's nervous as hell coming along. You can either sit at the back talking to your mates noisily, or you can go up and put your arm around them and have a chat to them and make them feel relaxed. And then you are that person, and other people will see that you're already on the road to being the nicest superstar rather than a nobody dick. So those are all really important.
I love that. It's not Moby Dick, it's Nobody Dick. I'm writing that down.
You got some good tunes tonight.
About Wales. I actually write songs about Wales and whaling. The one that's on the compilation that Shirley's talked about is called 9 Pairs of Eyes, which is actually about whalers and whaling. So go number 5 on the CD. Go and find it. It's on Bandcamp. I suppose the other thing is about depression, which Michael touched on. Is I've written a song about a friend of mine who is he's a bit bipolar. He's life and soul of the party. He's the loveliest person. Whenever you see him, he's always a pleasure to be with. It's when you don't see him, that's when you've got to worry. That's when you've got to phone him. That's when you've got to find out what's happening. And everybody goes through the downs as well as the up. And music can be such a high that maybe there's a pendulum that swings the other way. So it's when you don't see people, that's when you want to see them, if that makes any sense. Even if it's just to say, hello, here I am, let's go out for a coffee or something, or shall I pop around with my latest bit of music from Doug De Jong? It's hilarious. Whatever it happens to be, just looking out for each other. It's all part of the same being a nice person rather than a dick, I suppose, but taking it to another level of understanding.
Yeah, I love that. It's fantastic. I really like those couple of words. And the other thing I need everyone to do is drop their socials. So maybe, Michael, if you want to do that, I'm going to ring LA, see if I can get her back on. But yeah, just all your socials. How do people find you with your music?
I'm on if I can't actually do it at the moment because I'm on a phone.
Yeah, that's right. No, just say them, and then when we hang up, you can actually.
I'll do it. I'll work it out.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, what's your website? What's your website?
Just Catharticus on Facebook. There's also catharticus.com, but haven't worked out how to drive that yet. So, I'll show you
Oh, hang on. Let me zoom in there.
David's writing on the Sharpie. I can hear him.
That's awesome, man.
How do you spell?
LA, how are you going? Are you okay to jump back on just at the end?
No.
Okay. That's all.
Okay. You muted yourself, Doug.
He did.
You've
He
outdone
has
yourself.
muted himself.
Sorry. I'm just trying to get. Okay, here we go.
The host has gone quiet.
I've got a household of people here now.
Okay. My name is spelled funny. That's awesome.
And now I'm
I thought he was spelled shorthand.
LA is just going to say good night over and out. I'm just going to. Hang on, it'll just be 1 second while she's not. There you go. Say goodbye. There we go.
No. I'm in my house now.
See you next time.
See ya.
Thanks. Peace a lot.
Okay. See you next time. Oh, there we go. So multitasking. Okay, so hang on. I'm just looking at this cat. Oh, Catharticus. I like it. Very, very, very. I like it. That's awesome, man. That's great. Dunedin. Excellent. Thank you for that. You can put it down.
Google that, you'll find us.
Yeah. Awesome.
That's a lot of words to fit on a ukulele case. Trust me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
There's
then.
a ukulele case.
So
There's a lot of the guitar case.
But I just want to say thank you all for coming on. And, technically this was blind because I've never met any of you before. I haven't even met LA before. And I don't think anyone's met Kurt before because he wasn't even on the call. So,
I'm just looking forward to seeing Kurt's cat.
Yeah,
Oh, man,
that was
it's
the very first time. But I would love to do this again sometime if everyone's cool, and we'll.
It was fun. Thank you, Doug.
Because with these things,
you're a great
know,
host, Doug. Love it.
Oh, thank you. I did.
Nigel.
Yeah, and great egg cartons, Nigel. You're a classic, mate. But I would love to see that 10-string instrument because I've never played one. But yeah, well, when you tune it up one time, yeah.
When I tune it up sometime.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if you can hear that.
That's amazing. That's cool.
Oh, you're not getting this. I'm just getting the shivers just playing it.
Okay, fair enough. Okay,
you're on my socials since I'm on at the moment.
Yeah, yes, please.
I'll give you the really simple one, but it's embarrassing.
Okay,
because
cool.
It's my website. It's my website, which I don't update probably for about once a year. But from my website, there's Facebook, Twitter, Spotify. And if you look around, there's a few videos and other things as well. So you can find out what I'm actually doing, what I'm actually like, by ignoring the website and looking at the links and signing up to my email newsletter. So things like it is, if you're comfortable.
Yep.
However, that way, NigelParryMusic.com. That's the easiest one. So NigelParryMusic.com will find an old website, but new ways of actually saying hi.
Yeah. Oh, did he just glitch or was he just?
Oh, that was a great clip.
Oh, that's funny.
That's awesome. Okay, so and Karen, you've got
a bit like that.
Yeah, I just picked up my card.
Oh, sorry, wrong button. Here we go. Oh, wrong button again.
You've got a little card there.
Excellent.
And I've just got Facebook Kieran Band, and on the back, I've got my Reverb Nation.
Awesome.
And on my knee, I've got the little dog. There you go.
Oh,
So
what
kind of dog? I've got a dog.
What kind of dog?
She's a Maltese.
And what's her name?
Angel.
Angel. Very good. Very good.
Angel.
All right. Well, please everyone stay on the line, and I'm just going to pull you from the feed, but please wave on cue. There we go.
We're waving to everybody else. Yeah. Thank you for tuning in, everyone who did.
And but stay on the feed for a second. Here we go. And so please like and subscribe. All these guys who's going to put their socials in the feed very shortly. So thank you for watching, and this has been cool. Artists from across the ditch in New Zealand, so all over New Zealand, North and South Island, which has actually been really, really cool. So if anyone else has got any other crazy ideas, they want to make some noise, please let me know, and we'll have a talk show, panel about it. But please support all the artists, and please like and subscribe. I keep doing this, but I hope I point the right way. But I need lots more subscribers on YouTube and Doug De Jong Music. I went to all the trouble to use these banners, and I just hit the wrong one. So there we go. But anyway, I hope you have a good night. Rock and roll.